Hey guys, welcome to the debrief for mission 3. I'm a little bit slow on getting some of these out. I've just been way too busy, but I want to get caught up. And this is mission 3, where we did pretty much a defensive counter air over this area while some A-10s were operating and attacking some ground targets. The idea is that the A-10s would be working these kill boxes. You can't see it here on TAC view, but there were these areas. They didn't have exact grids of where enemy were located, but they were inside these kill boxes. Unfortunately, they kind of got sucked in by some of these SA systems that were posted nearby, but that's okay. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. For the setup, way up here to the north is where the fighters would be taking off, and you can see that we actually had 4 aircraft there, and then myself and Bake actually air started here just to kind of for the flow. So the idea was that we would have 2 ship fighter sweep through the area, and then the other, the 2 flights would then come in and establish their counter air corridors here in their fighter engagement zones over the kill boxes. And then the A-10s were going to be taken off here out of Sochi and working their way down. All right, so we air started and moved into the area to conduct our sweep. You can see off here what we had essentially was 2 MiG-29s and then 2 MiG-25s down to the south. The idea was that the guy that was doing our GCI was also controlling these, or had some level of control, and I kind of talked to him ahead of time and what I wanted them to sort of do. I didn't want them to just barrel in like AI would and start fighting. I wanted them to kind of try and suck us in, you know, just try to make it last a little bit. So the MiG-25s pressed, and we went after them first, and the MiG-29s kind of worked the edges. But you can see we made our first engagements, got 1 kill, and then the other guy turned away. So we just kind of worked this target here. The MiG-29s were just kind of keeping their area secure, I guess you could say. The MiG-25's doing some circles there, and this guy was hard to kill. He was constantly avoiding the missiles. This was before the patch. And I think that the patches kind of made the 120s act a little weird. We've been having some strangeness with them. But this guy was just doing his AI jiggly dance and getting away. But we eventually got in close and made that kill. So at this point, the MiG-29s did start to push in on us. We were trying to get our distance, get our bearings, get back together, make sure that MiG-25 was gone. And then they went cold again, started trying to suck us back into the SAMs. But our engagement was right here, right on top of the SAMs, and we managed to kill both of those pretty quick. Now, one thing that happened, and I didn't realize it, and it's something that just got me with the mission editor, is a lot of times when you add in aircraft, they don't have any weapon systems on. Some of these, in fact, these initial group had weapons. The groups after that did not. I was cloning stuff early on and forgot to check them all. So after this, everybody that launches that's a red does not have weapons. But these guys didn't even get any shots off. We managed to make the shots count right off the bat and at least force them to avoid making any shots off at us. But after this, none of these guys are armed. But you'll see that the other guys are engaging them pretty accurately and pretty early on, and it's preventing them to make their shots. But one thing that I liked, and this was really kind of the point of the mission, because this is a large scale. We've got, I think we had 4 hogs, and then we've got another 4 F-15s. You can see they're starting to show up into their zones. And so the idea here really was just that coordination. So you can see that we've done our fighter sweep, and right about the time that we're finishing that sweep, the A-10s are coming on station, and then the other 2 flights of F-15s are coming on station. I can tell you, I was impressed. Not in myself because it was accidental, but the fact that this timing worked out the way that it did. I mean, this was perfect in my mind of how I would want this to happen. So both of those flights showing up on time, right in the sector, and that triggered the arrival of some more MiG-25s to the south. And I think, yeah, these were MiG-25s. Again, none of these guys were armed, unfortunately, but they were doing their darndest. But it gave something for them to work on. You know, the idea for me is not that people are in mortal danger every second. I don't think that that's necessarily fun. They didn't know that these guys weren't armed. They were just doing what they were doing and making their shots off and hitting targets. Again, some of these MiG-25s were able to do their little dance and avoid some missile shots. You know, maybe he could have got a shot off, but pretty quick turn and pop there by midnight, which was pretty awesome. Down here to the south, these guys, again, just kind of pressing in on these MiG-25s, getting some shots off. That guy definitely probably could have got a shot off there, but again, neat little snap turn by Salt. He just managed to just whip it right around and throw that right in that dude's face. So it's pretty cool. Again, I'm more interested in the coordination piece that was going on. So while all that was happening, the A-10s were hitting their targets, or at least trying to find their targets. I think they were getting painted by the SAMs quite a bit here. And then Bake and I returned to the tanker, or went to the tanker to get some gas and waiting to see if we were needed. What happened here to the south is the pair of F-15s kill those 2 MiG-25s, but then a flight of 4 show up. So they immediately pushed in on them, got their shots off, and actually did quite a bit of damage. Scared those other 2 back away, started to roll in, just really kind of merged in with these dudes. But this guy started to escape. They just could not get the shots off on him. And that's about the time that Bake and I had come off the tanker, and we got directed to come in and kind of help these guys out, because the boundary line between these 2 engagement zones was right about here. They were just unable to chase them, so it was like, hey, can you just run an intercept? So we came in, and it looks like they actually, I didn't even know that happened, they actually took a shot at them there. Didn't work out, and then we rolled in. He was doing a lot of dancing, and I think we actually drove him into the ground, chased him down into the hills. So at that point, we were pretty much out of missiles and started heading back. You can see there's only 1 A-10 remaining at this point. So somewhere in there, they started getting popped by these SA-6s. And by their own admission, I'm not saying anything that they didn't say themselves, but they kind of got sucked in on those SA-6s, and it did a number. So we got one guy here. I remember I think he lost an engine, and so he was running back. Let's see. Let's just back up here. So they're dropping bombs on this SA-6 site here, and then to the south, and then kind of pressed in up there and started working the north target, and then somebody got shot down. So you had 1 A-10 overhead still doing work while the F-15s were maintaining their place on station. So Bake and I made our way back to the airfield, and we could hear the other flights coming in, so we ended up doing a go around and decided that we would link up with those guys and just try to make it a big formation, which was cool to see, but at the same time a little frustrating trying to get the 6 aircraft into position. It got a little wobbly there. I was in the number 6 position and then suddenly became the number 5 position because people were having some issues, but we managed to get it all tightened up right before we got over the airfield. I managed to do a pretty cool little break. So anyway, everyone landed. Happy endings, at least for the F-15s, not so much for the A-10s. But I enjoyed the mission. I think everyone else did too. Again, not because of the danger aspect, but the coordination. It was a lot of chaos. It's a lot of situational awareness that you got to pay attention to in something like that. Obviously, you're not seeing all these things happen, so you're having to listen and you're having to kind of figure out where you are in the grand scheme of things. So hopefully those guys enjoyed doing it. Hopefully you enjoyed watching the mission. Thanks for watching this, and we'll see you next time.